Hey Han, can you hear me okay?
Aaron, how you doing, buddy?
Great, and yourself there.
Man, I love your background, dude.
Well, likewise, you got a lot of photos there too.
Is that your own photography or?
Oh, no, no, a lot of 8 by 10s from celebrities. I would say until like 2004, when you were going to interview somebody, they would mail you an 8 by 10 to run for the newspaper or whatever.
Oh wow, yeah, old school.
I mean, you're too young. You wouldn't know anything about that, right?
I I was just on the cusp of that, like right on the edge of it, and they stopped doing that. Everything went digital.
Exactly. Your IMDb page has the first credit as 2004. Is that true, or is that just fake news there?
No, that's real news. Which one was it?
Let's see. It says, pulling back the curtain because I actually had my research. It had Miracle Run and The Block Party in 2004.
Oh my God, the block party. What a nice trip down memory lane.
Yeah,
Oh man, yeah, that's true.
your story is absolutely intriguing because a lot of people are not successful in business before they make it in acting. And I see you as
Mhm.
somebody who made it in acting because you not only have a lot of credits over a long period of time, but a lot of them are great credits. So when did you start to feel like this is a career and not just a money losing side hustle on the side from business?
Yeah, so it actually started by accident. I stumbled onto a PlayStation set as an extra, and one thing led to another. Yeah, it was unscripted. Pulled me onto this handicap bus to sit next to Drew Brees, and I had no idea what that meant until it aired, and then the check started rolling in, and then you just kind of weigh it up on like the financials and go, okay, this is feasible. We can do this, because yeah, you're right. Up until that point, it was a hobby. It was just kind of something I did regionally and locally.
Yeah.
But yeah, the residual side of the business is something that people don't really speak about, but it definitely helps with the times when you're kind of low, right? When jobs are slow and you're still trying to find your footing. So yeah, that was when I realized, okay, all right, let's do this.
How many gigs after that until you were in a union to be able to get those good residuals?
It takes about a year. It takes about a year, and I did have I started working a lot, and then I had a very like low, a very slow year. I don't know why that was it. I think it was because I was doing a lot of training,
Yeah.
and then that year of working kind of covered me, and the health insurance is awesome too. Not to
Yeah.
mention that.
The the great side of unions that nobody can ever, there's people who are still anti-union, which is beyond me, but
Yeah.
the way that SAG and AFTRA and all that basically are structured to take care of people long term is a wonderful thing. You don't have to agree if that's a political kind of statement right there.
Right.
But
Right.
what year was it around that you could scale back the business a little bit and then totally focus on the acting? Or are you still
Oh.
very diversified?
Oh no. So when I first started, it was a choice. It was like, okay, there was no scaling down. It was all or nothing. So I sold the business, and I went for it. I did acting classes. I had to do it, like, not 24/7, but that was my
Right.
focus. And I didn't want to have to go wait tables or do another business because it takes a lot out of you
Yeah,
energetically. Yeah. So no, I decided to do it. I just went for it.
that makes sense
Yeah.
to me.
That was about, I think that was like 2009, if I'm not mistaken. 2009, 2010. Yeah. So it's been about 10 years.
And of course, a lot of eyes are on you because of Cobra Kai. I've got a trillion questions about that, but I'll narrow it down to like four or five.
All
Uh,
right. Awesome.
there's a lot of mystery around when Cobra Kai is filmed, where it's filmed, or anything like that. Were your scenes this season filmed in the Georgia area
Yeah. Yep. In Atlanta.
in
Or
Atlanta?
the outskirts of Atlanta. There's some very densely populated wooded areas,
Yeah.
southeast of Atlanta. So
And the scenes that we see you in help to explain the Kreese legacy because
mhm.
before that we just knew Kreese is this bad grumpy old dude who gets into a lot of fights, and now we
Yeah.
get a little empathy. But it's so intriguing that almost like pro wrestling, you find out that the good guys may not be the nicest guys in real life, and the bad guys are usually the nicest. The
Yeah.
5 minutes we've been talking couldn't be a nicer, relaxed, smilier kind of guy. Yet obviously you're not that way on screen. Do you like playing bad guys?
I love it. I love it because it's kind of, it's takes me out of that comfort zone, you know. And you know, I practice and I build these characters on my own when I'm not working. So it's very fun to be able to pull them off of the page and throw them into a set scenario. Um, the guy that Min Tao Pham, the one that I brought to Cobra Kai,
Mhm.
was actually a character that I developed for like a diamond trade, and he was one of those militia groups, and he had a machete. So I pretty much put him in another setting, took the machete away, and put a gun in his hand. You know.
Well, it's good to know that that's transferable. Did you know anyone that you worked with on the Cobra Kai set before that gig happened?
No, actually, surprisingly, no, because I typically do when I go on set. I usually know a
Right.
lot of people because you know it's the same guys jumping from one production to the other. In terms of like the cast members, no, this is the first time I've actually worked with those guys. Actually, no, I lied. Terry, the one who played Captain, what's his Turner?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact, he was the one chasing me in MacGyver.
Really?
Yeah. So when I had him in the you know, where I had him, I walked up to him and I said, "How's it feel to have the tables turned?" And he goes, "Son of a bitch."
I,
And
I love it's a little meta on my end, but something I love to think about is the vibe that you see on screen versus the vibe on the set. What one thing that I'm curious about when you take something like the scenes that you're in Cobra Kai, there, and I don't want to spoil them for anyone who didn't see it.
yeah,
They're still living under rocks, of course, those people. But those are very tense, not too pleasant, not too happy, not too funny scenes.
right.
But again, relaxed guy I'm speaking with right there. The second that they yell cut, are there some laughs on the scene? Or
No, no.
everyone gets it?
For this particular one, I made a choice because the character, you know, I came to set. He was a very evil character.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's very angry at the Americans who are coming in and killing his people, fighting his people. He doesn't know why he's in this situation, but he has kind of like this microcosm of like that he's living under,
Yeah.
and he is a leader of this world that he's created, and he has no consequences whatsoever. There are no consequences for his actions, so he can do what he wants. Hence why he's so evil, right? So when it's cut, I just kind of detach myself from the kind of what's happening on set, and because if they're setting up new shots, and I just watch. I don't really engage in chit chat for this particular character. I don't say I do it all the time, but he had to be in this mindset. He had to have that, you know, hate and that kind of subdued anger for the guys that he's you know, don't want to spoil anything, so I'll just keep it at that.
Right, right. A lot of actors I speak with say, "Oh man, don't talk to me on the day that I'm acting because I don't break character." And then other people go, "The second I hear cut, 30 seconds later, I could just snap out of it and be joking or talking about current events." Are you closer to that? If you really need to, in 30 seconds, you could go back to normal?
But yeah, I've done it. I've done it. We were on Grudge Match with Kevin Hart and Stallone and De Niro, and it's like, you know, when you're in that kind of energy, it depends on the energy. It depends on the space, right? If it's a serious environment, you know, I'll make a choice to not engage in banter too much. But if it's in that kind of comedic vein, it's okay to do it because once they yell action, you're right back into it. There is no like jumping in and out of it, you know. But I can do that. I mean, if you're pro, man, you got to learn how to do that. But there are times when you engage in banter and you laugh so much that you just keep thinking about that joke, and that's happened before on set. And I just had to take like 4 minutes. It's like, give me some time, you know.
Well, the scenes that you're in Cobra Kai are not visually representative of other things that are going on, of course, because it's different actors, it's a different setting. I don't think we see a lot of jungle foresty kind of scenes elsewhere. I mean, aside from when Ralph Macchio's training Robbie in the middle of a random forest and all that.
Yeah.
Was it a second unit or a separate unit that was that was filming
No,
the show at the
no,
same
this
time?
it was first unit. It was one of the most elaborate sets that they've actually had to build out. They had bamboo huts. I mean, it was pretty legit. Everything was weathered. The ammo boxes were weathered down. Like it wasn't, you know, yeah. And the bamboo, even the bamboo was weathered. They flew a Chinook in. I don't know if you saw that during one of the scenes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a real Chinook. They didn't like drive it in or anything. It flew in. So they did a great job creating the space for us to kind of just step into.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was amazing, man. And with that being said, a lot of the guys who were off, you know, Martin, Bill, they came on set to kind of check it out because they've never really built anything that elaborate. A lot of it was already like pre indoors, you know, like a school setting. Um, but it was nice to see them on set, kind of enjoying, you know, the art.
That was my next question, because in some films, when you have big stars, they go, "You got me for 3 days." You know,
Yeah,
without naming names, we can telepathically think of some of the people that you've worked with that are like, "You got me for 3 days. That's it.
sure.
That's my quote." And then it
And
seems
it's a hard out too. It's not even like, oh, I'll hang out. Boom, they're right when you wrap, they're on the plane to the next project because they're jumping right onto the next one, right? So
exactly. So in the case of Cobra Kai, it seems more family-ish, that the people are connected, but at the same time, the word is that the scripts don't leak and that everything is kind of, here's your 4 pages, that's all you need to know. Is that the case, or do I have that wrong?
yeah, yeah. And I think they did a great job like creating the culture, you know. Sometimes you get on set and you work for people, you don't even know who the higher ups are. But they did a great job just kind of dismantling that wall and being present on set. The three creators and you know, one of them was the director.
Yeah.
They were just cool. They're just cool guys, man. They're college buddies. And like I said before, this success couldn't have happened to a better group of guys. It was super nice, allowed me to just be free as a character. So they did a good job creating an environment where, you know, actors and crew members could thrive because no one was a jackass on set. Excuse my language, but
Oh,
that's
that's such an offensive term. I mean, that's in the dictionary.
Jack A dollar sign. No, but they did, yeah,
Yeah.
they did a good job. They're the kind of guys you want to rally behind. And
Cool.
you know, if they asked me to do anything, I would have done it.
Well, a lot of people would use that Cobra Kai credit for the rest of their lives. That when Comic Cons come back, their banner in back of them would say Comic Con, but not your first credit, not your last credit. There's future stuff showing in IMDb. Is there anything that you're allowed to talk about that's coming out next, or just out, or anything like that?
Yeah, I've got a movie with Hugh Jackman coming out this year. It kept getting pushed because of COVID. So
Right.
I think it's going to come out this year. I play a high profile lawyer. It's a nice little reunion with Hugh, and I've got the distribution label Kamikaze Dogfight, and so we distribute horror films for filmmakers, and we have a partnership, a 2 picture output deal with Gravitas and Red Arrow Studios. We have a lot of films coming out. We dropped Haymaker yesterday. I don't know if you heard that one.
Yes.
Directed by Nick Sasso. He starred in it as well. It's doing very well received. And we just got every month we're gonna have two, 3 films coming out. So if they follow us on social, you'll see the announcements on there.
And of course, say the name of the social media account right there. Give us the exact address so the people immediately their Google, like everything that they say gets into the digital universe. So now the ads start appearing for them. So say the account name.
It's at Kamikaze Dogfight. It's KAMIKAZE Dogfight. And then my personal one is at Han Soto. It's HANSOTO.
Exactly. So if we just keep saying Kamikaze Dogfight, you're going to start to see your Facebook advertising show that all the time. So that's kind of the goal of why you say it 5 times. So outside of, because really that's enough between your acting and your producing, you know, that is a lot of work. That's not just 40 hours a week right there. What's life like for you outside of entertainment? Are there any hobbies that we would never expect?
I like woodworking. I like building. I enjoy like landscaping. I have chickens.
Really?
We just bought a Sprinter van. In fact, I just came back from a 4,000-mile trip since Christmas. So it's nice. My family, my wife, and my daughter, we jump in the van, just go out and get nature when we get a chance.
That's
I'm
fantastic.
calling you from Colorado, so I split residence between Colorado and New Orleans.
Are you a Breckenridge guy or where in Colorado?
I'm in Thornton, actually, near between Boulder and Denver. Breckenridge is about an hour away. It's not far.
Interesting.
It's nice to have that in your backyard.
Well, it always intrigues me if you take someplace like Colorado that I hear James Hetfield, the singer of Metallica, lives in Aspen. And you go, if that guy's worth tens of millions of dollars, why does he live in Aspen? And you go, well, obviously there's something great there, but they don't want people to know that. What is it that brought you out of LA or New York? Because even as recent as 10 years ago, you needed to live in New York or LA to kind of make it.
Yeah, I've actually never set foot in LA. In New York, I was from New Orleans, so everything I've done has been Southeast based, like Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, and Texas. So I never lived out there. I never even stepped foot on a set in LA before. So
Really?
yeah, yeah.
Is that because the tax credits just changed everything in terms of where stuff was being filmed around
Absolutely.
the time that you started making it?
Absolutely. Around the time I decided to do it, the tax credits came to New Orleans or Louisiana, and I mean production was just booming. I was literally in the car on the way to LA, packed, when I turned around and I said, I got a call saying that I booked 3 projects that I auditioned for, and I turned the car around, unpacked, and never left. So,
Wow.
um, yeah, yeah, and I'm just one story, you know. It's nice. I have friends who are super successful. They're all over Netflix. I mean, it's very nice to see everyone kind of coming up, especially when we started at the same time.
Hmm.
I have buddies who are series regulars, and yeah, it's very refreshing to see that.
I didn't realize you had the New Orleans roots. That would explain why you were on Treme.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that was a really good credit to get because it was kind of an homage to, my roots and where I came from. So Treme is very, very New Orleans.
And but besides the tax credits, this is a real question, like not a gimmicky question. I think that New
Mhm.
Orleans kind of turned around as an entertainment destination as a result of Master P and No Limit Records.
Mhm.
Yes, the roots of jazz, blues, soul go back to New Orleans, but I can't think of an entertainment enterprise that was really a big deal until No Limit Records. Do I have that wrong, or am I missing a
No,
company?
you're right. You're right on that. He kind of kickstarted everything, and then Cash Money came in, and they put New Orleans on the map. Like that put all of New Orleans on the map, and it just never let up.
Wow, we just connected some dots there. Well, two quick
Yeah,
questions, and then you're a
yeah.
free man. And the first one is there a TV recommendation that you could pass along to somebody who needs a new show to start?
An old one or a new one?
Either or, because the reality is if you haven't seen it, it's still a new show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So look, man, one of my favorite ones, just because the transformation of the character, I mean, it's from A to Z, is The Night of, and I want to say you can catch that on HBO. That's Riz Ahmed.
Yeah,
Have you watched that?
I haven't, but I'm a big fan of everything that Bobby Digital does. So if
Yeah, yeah,
this is there,
phenomenal.
yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's something newer. I would recommend. I don't know, something lighter. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. You know, Ozark. If you haven't watched Breaking Bad yet, you can crawl out of that rock too.
Well, that's
So
another
yeah.
show that before I ask you my last question, I read an article the other day that said that Albuquerque is the best city to live in as a filmmaker. Is that anything that you've heard? Have you filmed anything in New Mexico yet?
I did. Yeah, one of the first things I've actually produced was a music video, and I drove down to Santa Fe and shot it. And that's where I met my new team. And they were. I was trying to find people kind of locally in Colorado, but there weren't many people. But the guys I found were from on Instagram, and we one thing led to another. We shot this thing on spec, and then next thing you know, they're in Cuba with me shooting, you know, they're cameramen on my documentary. So it's cool how things happen, right? So I did shoot in Santa Fe. I love it down there.
Wow. Okay. Confirmed. So if I recap what I've learned from you today, you don't necessarily need to be in New York or LA to make it. New Orleans had that early 2000s hip hop scene that actually helped give birth to film. You left the business world more than 15 years ago, we could say.
10, 12, yeah.
But you're making 2 films a month on average, it seems, and the good folks at Gravitas are making that happen. We say the name of your production company over and over and over again, and it keeps popping up on our Instagram and Facebook. Say it again.
Kamikaze Dogfight.
Kamikaze Dogfight. So my closer for you, Han, is any last words for the kids?
For the kids, man, I you know, look, build a strong circle of people who's going to lift you up. That's a short answer, you know. But basically focus on your journey and not your destination. And make sure you got good people around you.
Works for me. Well, thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to seeing what's coming next from you.
Darren, thank you, brother.
You got it. Take care.
You too.
Paltrocast.